So here's a fragrance that will definitely activate some nostalgia for people. Even if you didn't own it yourself, chances are you smelled it on somebody else. This one is by the designer brand Revlon, and it's Charlie White. This is a flanker of the original Charlie. This fragrance also gets compared to a really popular fragrance for women by the niche giant Creed, and you know, Creed fragrances are very expensive. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell, the nostalgia, and the comparisons, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's video and I tell you all about Charlie White by Revlon, which you've probably already smelled, if not actively, then definitely passively, I do want to start things off by saying that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you learned something today or if you took something of value from today's episode. Now, if you're interested in purchasing this fragrance, you may do so at fragrancebuy.ca. I usually look around the web to see who's carrying it, who has the best price, who actually has it in stock. Fragrance Buy has it, and it's going for a really good price at the moment. I've been using them for the past few years, and I've used them many times. Great customer service, really fast shipping, given the fact that they are in Canada and I live in New Jersey. Still gets here in about a week, or maybe sometimes a little over a week. So of course, this is a fragrance that came out in 1994, and it has a pretty simple note breakdown, surprisingly. Watermelon, there's lily of the valley, jasmine, peach. I personally pick up on musk, and I know rose is listed as an ingredient too, in addition to violet. So this is a very sort of floral green fragrance with some fruity touches on account of the peach. But this one does get compared to a Creed fragrance for women, and Creed fragrances are super expensive. So I'll definitely let you know what I think in regards to that. Let's start things off with the presentation. Now, when this fragrance opens up, you are going to get this intermingling of floral notes and also fruity notes. So the floral notes in here, as is evidenced by the note breakdown, you're going to have lily of the valley, jasmine, violet, and rose. I personally get a lot of lily and a lot of jasmine. It definitely has this clean white floral appeal to it, and I don't know if maybe I was influenced by the name Charlie White, but it definitely has this sense of purity about it, this clean white floral bouquet that is kind of residing in the heart. It also has this fruity touch to it as well. So the peach is certainly in here. In terms of watermelon, I'm not getting much of that. I don't know if that was just done to entice people or if that was done in error or something like that. But in any case, I do get a peach-like introduction. And then I also have like this creamy, smooth dry down, something that reminds me of sandalwood, something that also harkens up images of musk. I definitely get a lot of musk, and so I feel like this is a clean, musky, white floral fragrance. Not so many green influences in the sense that I don't get oak moss, I don't get patchouli, I don't get fir, I don't get any aromatic ingredients like basil or tarragon or anything like that, or clary sage even, but I am getting that clean, white floral, creamy, smooth, musky fragrance with a touch of peach. So this one actually gets compared to Love in White by Creed. And of course, if you're interested in spending hundreds of dollars, you may certainly do so by purchasing the Creed. In terms of the comparison, I don't own a bottle of Love in White, but I do have several samples, and I've tried everything that Creed has to offer, including all of the vaulted fragrances. I even own Royal English Leather, I've tried Acier Aluminum, I've tried Selection Verte and Vintage Tabarom. So I've tried even the vaulted Creed fragrances, because believe it or not, the boutique on Madison Avenue has the vaulted fragrances and they will let you try it, although you can't buy it. This is pretty similar to Love in White. Now, of course, Creed, I think, does pour a lot more money into their fragrances and to the synthesis of their fragrances. So in terms of the raw materials, you are going to get a higher quality offering. And you know, it's funny, I mentioned that I smell sandalwood in this fragrance, and then I went and looked at the note breakdown for Love in White, and it does in fact contain sandalwood. So I knew my nose wasn't playing tricks on me. This one does smell about, I'm going to give it a conservative estimate, about 90% similar to Love in White. Not 95, not 98, 98 or 99, certainly not 100. But if you like Love and White by Creed and you're just looking for something to wear in the interim when you don't want to wear Love and White, maybe you spent a lot of money on it, you're saving it for special occasions, but you like the vibe of it, you can definitely get Charlie White, which has been around since the mid-90s, 1994 if I'm not mistaken. So this one is going to work great as an alternative. For me, it did conjure up a bit of nostalgia. As soon as I smelled it, I was like, oh, I've smelled this before somewhere. I couldn't pinpoint it back to an exact memory from my youth, but I've definitely smelled this DNA before, if you will, and it is a very pleasant smell despite the fact that it was released in 1994. I think it would still resonate with the young consumers of today. There's still a youthful appeal about it, and yeah, peach and jasmine are still in vogue, so to speak. So I think you'll get a lot of use out of this one, especially if you're a lady watching this channel and you've never tried this one before. For the really inexpensive price it's going for, I just think it's worth a blind buy at this point. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, it is unique, or I should say it was unique for its time. There's a lot of other peach and jasmine fragrances on the market nowadays, and yes, there are even some that do it better. But for what this fragrance is worth and for what it has to offer at this price point, I think it's a no-brainer, and I think it's a really nice fragrance to have just for reference purposes because it is a classic. In terms of the longevity, you're going to get about 6 hours from this fragrance. Not great. I'm sure it's been reformulated a number of times. Projection was pretty good for the first 45 minutes to an hour. It did radiate within an arm's length, and it became an elbow's length scent right around hour 3. It became a skin scent right around hours 5 or 6. Versatility on this one, you can wear this one casually. I think in terms of a formal fragrance, maybe something with a bit more of a presence would be warranted. I think this one is great for the hotter weather, but if it's a warm fall day, you can wear it in the autumn as well. I think this one will appeal to anybody of any age. For nostalgia reasons, it'll probably appeal to somebody who's a little bit older, and I do think that it leans traditionally feminine. In terms of the presentation, really cheap. I mean, this box is the type that would rip. There really isn't much insulation or anything to hold the bottle inside it, so it does rattle a bit. So, I mean, yeah, it leaves a lot to the imagination. A lot more can be done in this regard, and you don't even have a collar on the sprayer either. It's just exposed. But in any case, my final verdict on this fragrance is if you're looking for an inexpensive alternative to Creed's Love and White, or if you've owned this in past decades and you're looking for that air of nostalgia, I would definitely check out Charlie White by Revlon. I think it's a great fragrance that is still modern in many ways, and although it doesn't smell the most natural and it definitely doesn't compete with some of the fragrances of today, I think it's a really great fragrance to have in your collection just as a reference. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. If you own this fragrance or if you have any memories of wearing a Revlon fragrance, leave a comment down below. Always love the interaction. Hit the bell, give the video a thumbs up. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.